Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Champagne Wives podcast. I'm your host, Kelly.
And I'm your co-host, Nicole. Hey, gals.
Hi.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good. You know.
How was your week?
It was good.
That means uneven.
I know.
You have to pause that.
I know. I had to think.
What happened?
Only really great thing that happened was I launched a project, which I'm really excited about. You're very familiar with, but launched a project on kind of another creative platform of mine. So I'm really excited about that getting launched and being done with that, and have received some really great feedback on it, positive feedback on it. So yeah,
You did an amazing job. And let's just tell the listeners, everyone that's listening.
Do we have to?
We have to. Why not?
Okay.
Why not? So my husband and I buy investment properties, and so we recently purchased a new investment property that we wanted to list on a short-term rental market. And so we needed someone to come in and decorate and stage it and get it ready to hit the market.
Yeah.
And so we hired my good sis. Hi,
good sis.
The other half of CWP podcast,
Yes.
Champagne Wives podcast, to fulfill and execute the job for us. And so she did such an amazing job.
Thanks, babe.
Amazing. Why are you being so like?
I don't know. I'm really shy about it.
Modest. Like,
I know.
stop it. Like,
I'm being
pop your shit.
super.
You did good.
This is why you need those types of friends in your life. They'll tell you to pop your shit. Yeah, no, I was very, I was overwhelmed, but then really excited, and then became overwhelmed again. And I just think that I was nervous the entire time, but I'm so pleased with the way that the product turned out.
It's beautiful.
And yeah,
Everyone has said such wonderful things about it.
Thank you. May it stay occupied. May it
to God's ears.
listen. That's the goal. Yeah. So that's a nice little creative outlet that I have to be able to take just properties and then turn them into homes, and do that for folks who are looking to Airbnb, VRBO, whatever the case may be. So it's a fun little venture of mine.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool. Well,
How about you?
An even fall. I'll just leave that there. Like, there was just, but the calmness is welcomed, because I had such a I was talking to my trainer about this yesterday during my session, and I was just like, I feel like, not yesterday, today. God, it's Monday, right?
Yeah,
today,
all day.
Earlier today.
Okay.
All day.
I'm like the same one.
All day.
Okay.
All day today is Monday. But I was talking about that with her today. I was just like, I feel like January and February was really just a continuation of December.
Oh.
And I am not really to a point where I can slow down until like now. Like, literally.
Really?
And so, yeah, I did not do anything. My week was so uneventful.
That's perfect.
The only thing is now that the other property is at the market, that's been keeping us busy, because we have a few on the market now. And so just trying to like automate that and make sure that like everything is being taken care of is what has kept me busy this last 2 weeks.
So what sticks out is you said that you feel like January and February were continuations of December. And we were ripping and roaring.
Yes, in
December.
And it just didn't stop. Like, Michael's birthday is in January, my husband's birthday, which that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And then February came around, and we went to Louisiana, and just
You actually have had a pretty busy 2 months.
I have.
Not my experience. Not my experience.
Story?
No. December, and I feel like March feels so much lighter than December, because for me, December, I felt like I was coming out of a deep rut, And I welcomed January. It wasn't as rough or as busy, but we did celebrate your husband for his birthday, and that was a lit pun lit time.
If y'all know anything about me, like, I could throw a party.
Does.
I can throw a good party. I know how to party.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I'm excited for March. March feels lighter for me. It feels much lighter for me. I have a lot going on personally that should really wrap up probably by like the end of like May. So I'm just, it's feeling like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train. So I'm very excited about that. But throughout all of that have felt like, shit, I got these kids, I got this job, I got this opportunity to work with you and your husband on this project. We have this podcast, so much, right? That's still, the show must go on, as they say, and a lot still had to go on. And it just made me think about, how, if not me, then who, as we always like to ask here, right? If not me, then who?
Yeah.
And the way that I've had to find the resilience, find the strength to push through, as we also like to say in these chairs, but to pull through even during some really, really dark times. And I was talking to same trainer as this morning, and I just said, I asked her, I was like, what's the hardest thing for you as a Black woman? And she was like, the fact that we have to be strong throughout it all. And it doesn't matter what's going on. We've got to be strong. And there's an expectation that we have to show up as the pillar of strength, even when we don't even have the reserves to tap into.
Girl, something that was a sneeze, a half sneeze that I really wanted to come out, but it was like, nah, I'm coming, but I'm not.
Nice try.
Okay. But I don't have my hanky, so
we have to be the pillar of strength.
Okay, come on, okay, focus. Okay, sorry,
get the tray back on the track.
I know, right? Sorry. Okay,
and you're about to say exactly
what? What you said? Say it again.
You were about to say exactly how we have to be the pillar of strength.
Okay, I was just agreeing with you. I didn't have anything to say.
So, it begged the question: what are the peaks and the pits, if you will, of being a Black woman?
Yeah.
A modern day Black woman at that, right? So I thought that would be just cool for us to talk about a little bit today.
Yeah. Well, I think that to our trainer's point that, I think having to have that level of strength is a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the things that I love about us. And I think it's something that is, admirable. I think that we have perseverance. I mean, even from back in the day with slavery, you know, and you watch all these harrowing documentaries about how Black women who were having their children taken from them would then have to turn around and take care of the slave owners, the slave owners' children,
right? It was
nurse
some cases
them,
maybe
care for
children.
them.
In some cases, maybe their own children that the slave owners made and produced.
Exactly. So I think it's sad that we have had to have that level of perseverance and strength to be able to get through some of the most difficult times.
Right.
But I also think that's something really beautiful about us.
Yeah.
That despite all the odds, child, every single last odd.
Right.
We're here, we're thriving. I mean, we're the example. At the end of the day, everybody wants to be like us.
The main character.
The main character. And as much as people deny it or, they come up with these microaggressions and use buzzwords like ghetto or aggressive. And at the end of the day, we set the standard, period. And that's something to be very proud about.
Yeah. Agreed. And I think even though we're focused so much on being strong, right, and having the resilience. I've said this in previous episodes, right? It's about being gentle and with yourself and allowing yourself to feel sad when you need to feel sad. And I just don't know, as Black women, there's always the space for us to feel.
Yeah.
I
think now there is. I mean, we talk about it all the time.
We're starting to get there.
Yeah, we talk about mental health all the time, and I guess, again, it's just you don't want to talk about just overhealing, right? We talked about this on our podcast, overhealing, because that makes it seem like something is just perpetually wrong, right? But I think to be able to have those moments, and I said it on our episode with Tamara on. She was just like, get you a therapist. I was just like, well, you could get you a good friend or a good family member to talk to. But I think at the end of the day, a lot of my help, I'm not saying that therapy is not good. Obviously, we both have been in therapy on and off for like years now. Thank you. But I think having a great conversation with a good girlfriend helps so much.
Girl.
Like,
AK, throwback to our Friday night.
I swear, like, I feel like we solve so many problems just, talking about it, with someone who we care about, who we trust, who can relate. And that has been also extremely, extremely helpful for me. And I just think that now there's so many tools. And I think now that we have the words, the verbiage, right, and the examples, I think it's a lot easier to allow ourselves the space to heal and talk through our feelings and feel our feelings. Right. But that just wasn't always the case. There were, we haven't always had these tools. I think our parents maybe didn't even, you know what I mean? Like maybe it started there, but I don't even think they had as many tools as we have right now.
Agreed.
To be able to work through some of the things that we have to work through. But that's just my 2 cents. Somebody else may disagree, child, but that's how I feel.
We're fortunate to be able to see generationally what it looks like to not have access to those tools and resources and what it looks like to actually have them and have the ability to do better, right? And do better for our kids and for, our daughters specifically.
Absolutely.
So that was kind of one pit.
And I'll say that too, since you brought up the kids. I'm starting early with mine, y'all. Like, sis knows how to express her feelings.
We talking.
Like,
we talking in our household.
We talk. Like, me and my daughter, like, and, you would think that, like, she's 9 and she's saying whatever her feelings are. Like for example, things like, I just need to think through my thoughts. I need to process my thoughts right now. When I ask her to come down, she's upset. And I'll allow her that. You know what I mean? And because I feel like it starts at that age. Like if she's able to say it, articulate it, verbalize it, then she feels it. And she's entitled to that because yes, she's my child. She's a child, but she's also a little person,
who has thoughts and feelings.
Exactly. And so I allow her that.
Yep. And we have to. I know I wasn't given that grace.
Me either.
My mom was like, grow another layer of skin. Okay. I didn't know what that meant. But like, I had no choice. Like, I had to literally be a duck, let the water just go off my back and move on. Like, there was no time for feelings.
There was no, we did not talk about.
We don't talk about feelings.
We don't talk about feelings. You feel what? Girl?
Yeah. So even like with my son, who is 7.5, and he's all over the place, big boy energy. But he gets very angry very quickly. And so what I'm trying to do is work with him so that he can articulate and express why he's feeling that way. Like, don't let a game of FIFA 2021 get the best of him. He's stomping, he's angry. You've heard it, right? Yeah. And
I think it might be a boy thing.
And it might be a boy thing, but he's growing out of it. He's growing out of it. But even today,
mine is just starting, child.
We got a couple of years behind. But even today, he was bothered because I didn't greet him with the same level of energy and enthusiasm that I greeted his sister with. And he's like, you didn't give me a kiss. And I snatched his ass up and grabbed his cheeks and just smooched him all over his face. And, gave him what he wanted. Yeah. But more so because he articulated why he was so mad and like kicking the soccer ball with like a level of fever that he didn't need to be kicking the soccer ball with inside the house. So,
correct.
We're working on trying to just break the cycle.
Yes.
More than anything else. So I had another pit, unless you had one.
A pit.
A not so positive thing.
I know what a pit is, child.
What was your pit?
Why pit? Oh, I really like when we started to talk about this, I really just could not think of a pit. I just don't think there's any pit of being a Black woman in this day and age. I think for me, if I had to just pick one, the pit is that I have to have those conversations with my children about the history, racism, discrimination, and having to, that gives me the most anxiety.
Point out that they're different.
Pointing out that they're different. And I didn't know that it would impact me that way, but you don't know what you don't know, right? Like before children, I just, when people would talk about like having to have that conversation with their children, I never really thought too much about it, right? But now that I have children, and especially my daughter who is aware, like I barely like to watch TV in front of her because I'm not ready to have these conversations, you know what I mean? And I just, for me, that's the pit, that my children have to be raised in a society where there's a difference. And I don't like that.
And this society where like the difference in the last like 3 years has been highlighted so just significantly compared to, I mean, it was always there, right? But like we have just seen with just event after event after event, right? That is just bringing that to the forefront probably more than ever. Like I'd rather talk about the birds and the bees
all day. like
I'd rather talk about that
all day
than, talk to my son about how he needs to make sure when he's 16 that he's very communicative if ever he gets pulled over, right? Or like talk to my daughter about the fact that she's a Black woman, and that like there are things that are going to come with being a Black woman, and not everyone's going to like you for what's inside of your, inside your brain, but because of what's on the outside, potentially because you're fetishized or whatever the case may be. So,
or your token.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. So,
and so for me, that's the biggest pit. I don't want to, how do you have that conversation with a child? And it's just, I want my children to have the privilege to grow up and just not see color. That's just not that's not their story. Not their story, child. Right. You know what I mean? Who I don't have to worry about, breaking their innocence because I have to explain a George Floyd situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't like it. It makes me highly uncomfortable, and that's the pit for me.
Yeah. Okay. So peaks.
I just said it. We're everything.
Peaks. We're everything.
Like we're everything. I feel like Black women, we are the standard. I mean, we're the only group of people. I mean, this Black people, but whose hair grows out a different way. Like our hair is different. Everybody else's hair is straight, grows out straight.
What a blessing.
What a blessing. Our hair. I know people talk about it all the time, but I think that's society's way of trying to make us feel less than.
Yeah.
Because we are such a powerful people. I think again, Black women's strength. Our power, our creativity.
Right.
Child, come with it. Come through with it. I mean,
literally the standard.
Literally the standard. Just the different shades of our skin, the different textures of our, like, it's a rainbow. We're colorful people. We're very colorful.
Yeah.
We come in all different shapes and sizes, different features, different hair textures. Yeah. I think we have a certain level of perseverance and the ability to just push through when all else seems like there's just no way. I mean, there's just no way out of it.
Yeah, I think with Black women, there are so many different standards of beauty, and just Black people in general. Like there's so many different standards of beauty that exist within one race. And to me, I just feel like we're so fortunate for that to be the case.
Yeah.
We have the ability to change on a dime. If we want to go into a protective style, we can. If we want to wear our hair out, we can. If we want to play with color in a way that's like incredibly dynamic and beautiful, we can. I just, I'll tell you, growing up, I didn't, in a predominantly white community, I didn't sit here and say, damn, I love being a Black girl.
Really?
No. But I can tell you, in the last 15 years, the last 20 years, I absolutely can say, damn, I love being a Black girl.
Yeah.
Right? For so many reasons that we've talked about. I will admit also that, and this is probably a pit, the fact that within our race, whether you're male or female, the piece around colorism, right? There's still a lot of conversations that need to happen around colorism and whether we perpetuate that within our own community. But that's for us to deal with, no one else, right? But there's that. And I think most recently, there have been some conversations on a lot of on specifically the Real Housewives of Potomac. They've had a whole conversation around colorism, right? Mm-hmm. And there are varying opinions from certain members of the cast, which go watch it. We're not going to have this conversation here, but that to me is a potential pit, but I think that's one that we can overcome pretty quickly as a people.
And if you looked at that episode of the reunion, right, mm-hmm. It was just like the lighter skin complected women had no idea what the darker skin complected women were talking about.
Right.
And I think that's a deeper conversation to be had. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I think Ebony, is that her name? Not Ebony. Is her name Ebony?
So there's Wendy.
No, the one.
And then there's Candace.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think she did a great job trying to explain it and break it down so that other people could understand.
Right.
But yeah, I have thoughts on that.
Okay,
but we're not getting into that.
That's another episode.
It's another episode.
It's a whole other episode.
We're not talking about that right now.
Yeah. So, but potential to be a pit. But at the end of the day, I just think that we as a people lend, and specifically Black women, we lend such a unique perspective, right? Where we're women. So there's that. Mm-hmm. That's the low-key marginalization there. Mm-hmm. We're Black, high-key marginalization there. Mm-hmm. So I go back to something that Trevor Noah said as he was wrapping up his stint on The Daily Show. Mm-hmm. And he got really emotional about this because he was talking about how Black women are probably the most underappreciated demographic in this entire world. Mm-hmm. And he said, listen, everyone do yourself a favor and surround yourself by a quality group of Black women.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're going to show you, they're going to teach you how to look at things without bias in a lot of ways. Because if you're looking to bring an idea forward, they're going to be able to tell you, because of their perspective being female and being people of color, they're going to be able to tell you where something might not necessarily be as inclusive as maybe it should be, or where something might not be as inclusive is probably the best word to wrap it all up in. And give you a perspective that a white male can't give you a perspective that a male in general can't give you. So the fact that it's a double dose gives you the opportunity to really just to really have your eyes wide open to what's going on and to make and supports any efforts around inclusion. And I didn't think about that, but I feel personally that I became a lot more wiser the more I surrounded myself by Black women. Mm-hmm. And no shade on women in other communities, trust me, but the Black female experience is one that honestly can't be replicated. It can't be replicated.
No, you cannot. I agree with you. And that's why it was important for me to surround myself again
from the very beginning
with, community. Mm-hmm. Because I think our experiences are different because whereas you grew up in a certain environment, right? Where there was just a lot of diversity. I mean, not a lot of diversity.
There was a lot of diversity, but I just wasn't around it.
You weren't around it, okay.
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, it's just, I grew up in the South, was just always, even though we grew up in a nice, affluent neighborhood, I was just always aware of the fact that my mom and my dad worked very hard to be able to provide that for us. And was just always aware of the fact that of my Blackness. Like, they always say you have to jump higher, run faster, be smarter, X, Y, and Z as a Black person. And, the conversation that my mom had with me around race at a very early age is, Kelly, you're not better than anybody, but nobody is better than you. Mm-hmm. And that worked. I mean, because at the end of the day, I didn't feel less than anybody. Like, I always just felt like equal to. Right. But I think that for me, I've just always been in it. Like, I've just, with my cousins, grandmothers, aunts, there's such a vibe of being like, coming from a Black family, like real, like true Black, like real Black, you know what I mean? Like, we have our traditions and we have our get-togethers and, our language and our style and all the things that, we have. I've been around that for like my entire life. Right. You know what I mean? And so it's just always ingrained a sense of confidence in me and an appreciation for who I am as a Black woman. Yeah. And that still holds true to this day, whereas like I can be in any circle that I want to be in and be fine and speak the language and, find something to connect me with someone else. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I'm so proud to be a Black woman. And it's just a pride that I've had throughout my entire life. Mm-hmm. My entire life. Yeah. Now I'm glad like the world is catching up to it. Like now the world sees, you know what I mean? That like we are the vibe. Black women are the vibe. I mean, we've saved this country more times than not. Mm-hmm. We don't always get the recognition I feel like we deserve. But even in terms of just like slavery, to have to like support our husbands and, our children are being taken from us. We were being raped. We were having to raise our oppressors' children and love them and care for them. I mean, that takes an immeasurable amount of strength. Mm-hmm. And I just have so much respect for that. And I think that holds true to this day. And I think that, you're going to always want to hold down the people who are most powerful. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, we are the most powerful. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we are the most underappreciated and undervalued. Oh, yeah. Because we are the most powerful. Yeah.
I don't even know where to go from that. That's a perfect ending. Perfect fucking ending.
Can we put a stamp on that?
Yes. Cheers to that, bitch.
Cheers to that.
I mean, you about to go viral, bitch.
What is wrong with you? I don't know. What is wrong with you? This is what we talk about.
I know.
This is our conversation.
I know. I just saw like my whole life flash before my eyes. No. And I'm just like, all the memories. And I'm just like, what could have been done differently? I mean, like, girl, that's just beautiful. Beautifully stated. So
thank you, boo.
Well stated. So I'm going to refill you. We're going to pivot to what's popping. Great conversation.
This is a really great topic.
We're going to pick this one back up, particularly the colorism one.
I think we should have a conversation around it because I think we come with two unique perspectives. It's perfect. Respectfully.
And lovingly. Absolutely.
And definitely lovingly.
Oh, the only way.
The only way, yeah.
So we're going to transition to what's poppin'. Did you want to do your what's poppin' first while I pour you up?
So I'll go with what's poppin'. Let me see if I can gather my thoughts to remember what the what's poppin' was that I wanted to. So Michael B. Jordan has just released his directorial debut, the new movie Creed 3.
Creed 3, okay.
And so he's been, in the streets making his rounds, his media rounds, promoting his movie. And about a week or so ago, he had an interview on the red carpet with this reporter. I don't know if she's a reporter or she's just like what do you call it? Like a person who just...
a red carpet correspondent.
Correspondent, thank you. I don't know her name, child.
L'Oreal.
Okay.
Formerly of Love and Hip Hop New York.
Was she?
Yeah.
I don't remember her.
She had like a season.
Okay.
A season.
Season 1. Okay.
Yeah.
So they were starting to have conversation, and she was just like, "Oh yeah, I know you. Remember, we go way back to such and such school."
Yeah.
And the whole time, Michael B. Jordan is looking at her like with the whole side eye, like, "Bitch,
If a side eye was a person,
play with me in my face." Like, I'm surprised that she even went there, because the way that he was looking at her, I would have just kind of walked it back, child, because that was just like, try me. That look that he was giving her was just like, try me.
She set him up for the alley-oop.
Yeah. And so she proceeded to say, yeah, we have history. We go way back. We both went to X, Y, and Z school.
Right.
And he says, I was corny, right?
Like I was the corny one,
I was
right?
the corny one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they go back and forth, and she's shamed at this point. So do you think that like that was the most opportune time to kind of check her? And I get it. Like, in high school, believe it or not, I was not the most popular.
Who?
Me! I was not, child.
Who?
I was not. So, like, it's nice to be able to, like, shit on people who just, like, you know what I mean, treated you badly
Right.
or teased you. And back in the day, there was no social media.
Yeah.
But, you know, people teased and made fun and, you know, did hurtful things,
Yeah.
right? So I get it. But did he give her the satisfaction of like acknowledging the fact that she called him corny while like relishing in like this big, huge opportunity to direct this great movie that, you know what I mean, that people have like been anticipating this whole time? Like, did he do himself a disservice to acknowledge that on the red carpet?
You're asking the wrong one.
Because
Are you petty is as petty does.
Petty Betty.
Petty Betty. So a couple of thoughts. So she was with an outlet that isn't necessarily, it's not E, it's not ET, Entertainment Tonight, it's not BET.
Yeah.
It's like, it's below, it's a low level outlet, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, did he pick and choose his battles strategically? Probably, right? Like, I wouldn't have had that conversation on an E red carpet or an ET red carpet. BET Shade Room probably wouldn't have done that either.
Okay.
But I do think that if you think about how much he got played for this whole relationship that he had with Lori Harvey, and like, you know, the meme that's going around, make sure you're the prize. Just remember that you're the prize.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just think that like he has something to prove. He got
like
played.
Will Smith.
Yeah, he got played.
Why did he get played though?
The way that so let me ask you this. Do you think that in the relationship that Michael B. Jordan had with Lori Harvey, do you feel like he was a high level simp?
No.
You don't feel like he simped?
No. In what way?
In the sense that like he was just simpy. He gave her a lot of attention, gave her a lot of time. Like,
oh, so you're one of the ones who?
No, I'm asking a question. Don't draw no conclusions, Picasso. I'm asking a question.
Okay. No.
Okay.
I don't. And that's a whole nother topic of conversation because just like the Russell Wilsons of the world, like people try to call men and like the Rihanna cover where A$AP was like behind her carrying the baby.
Yeah.
And people try to make it seem like because you love on your woman and you honor your woman and you actually like your woman and you want to take care of her, that like you're corny or you're a simp. I don't agree with that. I don't subscribe to that. He may have well been corny in high school, middle school, but for different reasons. I mean, a lot of people were.
I love simp culture.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like, so I don't think so, to answer that question.
Okay.
I don't think he simped for Lori Harvey. I think she's beautiful. I think, you know, I think it was a great relationship. I think they looked really nice together.
Yeah.
And baby, one thing about Lori Harvey is she gonna get a man to simp, child. She's gonna get a man to show her off. Right, exactly.
For sure.
What he gonna do is show her off. He's gonna post her. He is gonna like do nice things for her. Period. And I respect that about her. And I respect that for any man who's willing to do that. Okay. Yeah. But going back to the original question with whether or not he should have used that.
I just think he had something to prove, so he used that platform to do that. But No. I don't think that was necessary. I think he could have used that as an opportunity to talk about his movie, and then once the camera's cut, to be like, hey, remember when you called me corny?
Yeah.
Like, you can address it without addressing it. And I think that, like, he could have used the opportunity on the other side of the cameras being on to address it.
Or just let it go. Like, I feel like the best revenge is success at the end of the day.
Which he has.
Exactly.
He has.
So she's on this red carpet with a no-name news network.
The way you couldn't even remember who she was.
I don't even know this woman. Harper, who this?
Harper, who this woman?
I don't know this woman. Who is this woman? I don't know her, but I just would not have given her the satisfaction.
Yeah.
Like, you're interviewing me. I am the big star. I am like the world's sexiest man. Even though it may have hurt that you called me corny in middle school, like, I am not going to give you the satisfaction in knowing that what you said to me impacted and hurt me.
Yeah.
And then for it to be played over social media.
I know.
Over and over again. It's just...
And made this no-name red carpet correspondent
relevant. Exactly. I would have just played it cute. Like, oh, yeah, I remember you. Okay, eat my dust.
Or I would have been like, no, I'm sorry, I don't remember you. But, oh, yeah, go whatever the mascot was, right? Like, I would have
that part, like, too.
I don't even remember you. Like,
exactly.
Who is you?
Exactly.
So, yeah. I mean, he could have been handled.
But that was kind of corny that he did that.
I would agree. Which kind of runs with the narrative.
Exactly.
Out there about him.
But exactly. I agree. I digress.
Who am I? All right. So my what's poppin' is something I saw on the socials, right? So there was this lovely young lady who said that we have an issue to address here in Houston.
Houston, we have a problem.
So if you don't know, we're in Houston. We record in Houston. We live in the Houston area.
Live, work, and play.
Exactly. And so she said, Houston, we have a problem. She said that she, in the day, had pre-gamed. She had gone to dinner, gone to the club, gone to after hours, gone to the after hours of the after hours, and was about to go to brunch. All within an 18 to 24 hour period. And she said, so what we gonna do? I guess we gonna go to brunch. She described her look. She said, my eyelashes falling off. It was. She pulled it down. The glue was giving up. The glue said, no mas.
Been there. Goddamn.
I've been there.
The
glue had given up, tapped out, and she said, we're about to go to brunch. And it made me just think about how wild and crazy Houston is. And in my mind, and even in the post, we said this. Houston's the only city where you can start your day on Saturday with a run to Target to do errands and not end your day till after a Sunday fun day at Chapman and Kirby the next day.
In your workout, in your Lululemon.
Right? And maybe you're running to the Galleria to go get a quick fit.
Yes.
You're stopping at Mac or Sephora to get a couple of essentials because you are just riding the wave.
Yes.
And the wave in Houston is more like a tsunami. It's not a wave, friends. And when we say that Houston is full, we mean it.
Very.
And we have some of y'all coming out here that maybe don't have as active of a social life in the cities that you live in. And you are coming up in here and tearing the damn city up. Okay.
You're getting exactly what you're looking for when you come here, baby.
And this one thing about this city is that it will swallow you and spit you out real quick.
It was not like that when I first moved here 20 years ago. Like, it was just not like that.
What was it like?
It was more calm. Like, you still, there was still like an active nightlife, but I just feel like you went home. People went home. It wasn't, brunch culture didn't get big until like a few years ago. Yeah. Maybe like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Brunch culture got more and more popping. But it was just, you could go and you could have a really good time. Like, it was not too packed, you know, like that was, the music was different. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a much, the young people hung with the young people and then like the more mature people hung out together. So it was more calm.
Yeah.
It was a lot more fun.
And
Right today, if today was back then when I was just like singling in these streets, child, Jesus Christ, like I don't even know. I would never would have made it. But like, at that point, like the after hour spot was like the strip club. That was it. You know what I mean? Like you would go from the club to the strip club, and then you would go home, and that's it. But now there's so many options of just like after hours and after hours. I don't even know what an after hours.
So I don't know. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
I only know about after hours.
I have no idea what that is. And when I first moved here, coming from New Orleans, like New Orleans, there was no curfew. In New Orleans, we could stay out until
the sun came up.
The sun came up. And so coming here and having the 2:00 curfew, that was off-putting to me because I was just like, man, I'm used to like going all night.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. And now I'm here in Houston and shit shuts down at 2:00. They stop serving alcohol and the only place I can go is the strip club. And so it was just different. Yeah. It was so different back then. Now these new wave of people, I don't know where they coming from, child, but they're here.
And I moved here married. I moved here and within months of like getting here, got pregnant again, had my 2 babies, right? Like I wasn't out there. Like I wasn't out. Like if I was out. You moved
here a family woman.
Yeah, I moved here a family woman. So when like we went out, it was like, okay, dinner, a little spot, home by 2, all is well, right? And then you start seeing COVID happened, right? You start seeing, okay, like post-COVID,
people went crazy.
Like literally, like I don't want to use the phrase that just came to my mind, but like everybody felt free, is what I will say. Everybody felt free. Everybody was let out the cage.
Yes,
everybody was let out the cage.
It's like Hunger Games,
right? Exactly, and. What was never an after-hours spot became an after-hours spot. What was never an after-hours spot became. So, you know, I think it's a real interesting time, and it creates a very interesting culture because it's a culture that's not necessarily based on or in reality. It's very much based on image and perception. And I know Atlanta went through this. I know Atlanta had their heyday, and y'all used to say y'all are full. But when I tell you Houston, it's in the flood stage. The levees are about to crest.
Hurricane Katrina all over again.
We're good.
We're full.
We good. Like come here for a weekend, stay at the Airbnb.
Yes,
and go back home.
Yes.
You don't need to make this home.
People are like, we want to live there. I don't understand.
Because the more people that come here, the more Fast Fuels Freddy is going to want to put a state tax on this. On the state and on us. And I just feel like I moved here for a reason. I was peeped to game early on, and I don't feel like I should lose that benefit because I was peeped to game early on.
People just want to move here to party and to do whatever else they are coming here to do, child.
And even with like the partying, what's happening is like people are doing dumber shit, right? Like I showed you the TikTok of the person who like literally thought he was in Grand Theft Auto and jumped over, like T-boned a car and jumped over 5 other cars. Like wild shit is happening. And we just like, we don't need that. So, y'all go home.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm kind of on the back end of that. Like I'm still youngish. However, like not that young to where I need to be out from like Saturday afternoon to like Sunday afternoon.
No.
Like, I can go out and have a good time with the best of them, child, but I'm bringing my black ass home.
I like to sleep. I got a Tempur-Pedic. I'm trying to sleep in that bed.
Baby, I get sleepy at a certain point. I'm like, I am tired. Alcohol just didn't even work on me like it used to. Like it's either I'm not drunk or I'm too drunk. Right. Like there's no in between at this point. I can't. Like
same.
I cannot do this every weekend. Like this is every now and again.
Yeah.
Every now and again we could go out and have a good time.
A good time.
Not 24 hours time, but just to go out and like see what's going on.
Exactly. And we are looking forward to, we have our annual, we go to one particular place for Sunday
Memorial weekend is our weekend.
Very excited about that. Yes. So looking forward to it. And I just, for me, the ideal situation was like our Friday. We ordered Thai food, we popped a bottle of Prosecco, and we just chatted on the couch.
We just chatted, like girl talk.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
Like,
it was perfect. And then I went home and...
Okay. I didn't. Love that for you, bitch.
It was great. It was perfect.
So yeah, like that to me, like those nights are more important than the Fast and Furious nights for sure. So that was my what's poppin'.
That's funny.
That was my what's poppin'.
Houston is full, everybody. Take heed. We've warned you.
Yeah, come visit. But the traffic's gonna get worse. The rent's gonna get higher.
Bad. Yeah,
and the restaurants are just gonna charge more and more for the food.
Yeah,
I'll leave it at that. Okay, so that's the episode. Yay. Don't forget to follow us if you're not. Instagram, Champagne Wives Podcast. YouTube, Champagne Wives Podcast. The TikTok, Champagne Wives _podcast. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Keep riding with us. And we'll see you next week.
Same time, same place.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.